Well, here we are working on the 86XJ air conditioning again. There's the R12, there's a scale, hoses, gauges, vacuum pump. Let me take you in a little closer. We'll turn the pump off because it's just loud. But it's doing a good job, but it's loud. Okay, so you zero out your scale. If you're using a scale, white bottle means R12. This is I don't think I got this off of eBay. I think I got this pump off of Amazon. Did a review on it. Took me a while to get educated on its use, but it works great. So, where we're at right now is all these lines, yellow, red, blue, they're all under vacuum. You pull a vacuum all the way to your bottle here with the bottle closed, so there's no air anywhere in the line. Minus 25.99 inches of mercury. We're at 3,500 feet, so that number at sea level would be a lot lower. I'm sorry, a lot higher. And the higher you go, the lower that number drops. But it's about right for this altitude. And it holds vacuum. I let that vacuum sit there for, I don't know, 20 minutes and it didn't drop at all. So there's no gross leaks. I prefer using a freon sniffer to find the, serious leaks. So here's the new suction hose right here. Let's see if I can give you a close-up of what he did. Yeah, anyway, it goes to the block up here, comes around. Sorry, I'm walking around stuff here. Now, right here, what he did was he took, this is the original hard piece, and he made a new hose with a new fitting on it and brazed them together. So it's brazed here, and it's brazed right here. I've had this done before many years ago, not by this particular guy. He owns Cave Radiator in Kingman, Arizona. Does great work, done my radiator for me in the other XJ, the 88. So anyway, it seems to be working fine. I had to put new O-rings. You always put new O-rings everywhere. Everywhere you've pulled something apart. I even pulled the plug out, put about 1.5 ounces of mineral oil in, put a new O-ring. They're cheap, and man, they will save you no end of hell trying to find leaks. So, a couple other things I had to do is the bottom of the God, what do they call this stupid thing? Whatever they call it, the bolt wasn't lined up with this bracket, so I had to bring all this around and tighten it up. And now it's one with the compressor. You don't want this vibrating around because you'll end up cracking an aluminum line or something like that. So make sure everything's mechanically where it's supposed to be before you go through all this. Alright, so now the next step is we're actually going to put R12 in it. This thing holds 36 ounces. Now I've already forgotten. What is that? 2.25 pounds? 2.25? Don't have a calculator with me. 36 divided by 16 is 16 plus 16 is 32. At least 4 ounces, that's a quarter. So yes, 2.25 pounds. The reason I bring that up is this increments in the scale increments in quarter pounds. Some increment in 0.1, but this one's in a quarter. See it climbing? Oh, I pushed too hard on it. But it climbs in quarter ounce increments, that's fine. Quarter ounce is good enough. So I shut off the pump, sealed it off here. These yellow jacket valves work really well. And now we're going to start putting freon in it. So I zeroed the scale, and the scale will start going negative as we put freon in it. We're inside the garage because it's blowing like hell and you don't want things getting to be inaccurate. The other thing is the line here will be part of the weight. Now the line's sitting stationary against the fender cover, and you need it stationary. You don't want it hanging in the breeze because it'll change your reading on your scale. Okay, so let's see. This goes to the pump. We're going to close that off because we don't need freon going to the pump. We need this valve open, which it is, and we need this valve open. This valve back here is already open. It's a 1/4 inch wrench on these old Renix Jeeps, but don't use a 1/4 inch wrench on there. Do not use a 1/4 inch wrench on there. You will strip that thing all to hell. So what you do is you get an adapter. This is a extension. It's got 3/8 on one end and an 1/8 on the other. It's kind of backwards, but for this application, it's perfect. It fits on there, the square drive does. Then you grab, not a 3/8 wrench, a 10mm on here, and you can move it with authority. You'll have some torque, because everybody usually reefs these valves really tight. You don't have to. These valves beat the daylights out of Schrader valves that most cars have that always leak. These things are awesome. I love them. Whoever invented them, they've done us all a great service, because there's two more places where it doesn't leak. And they're nice and hardy. So anyway, next thing we're going to do is we're going to fire up the R12 freon. I don't know if I can do this at the same time. This is not going to be easy. Let's see if we. I don't know. We're just going to have to see how it goes. What'll happen is negative will go. The number will get smaller and smaller, and then as it crosses 0, then it'll show pressure, and it'll be in PSI. We don't really care what the PSI is. This is tied, by the way, to the suction side, which is the side you want to feed. Now, a lot of guys will start the car right now and then feed it in there. I don't. I wait until I get close to what I want in the system, and then I start it. Alright, so just a hint here, one thing to check. If you can turn this with your thumb, whether it's freshly charged or empty or whatever, it's probably because the thing mechanically is in good shape. Uh-oh. She's whining and complaining. Okay, so how do you make it stop? Ready. Okay, here we go. You don't need me watch turning a valve here, but you could learn something by. There we go. Now we're up to atmospheric pressure. Right? See the pressure keeps climbing? Yay, that means we're putting freon in. There was a vacuum in here, and now we're putting freon in, so there is 0 air going in this thing. Uh-oh, something's not right here. Yeah, the damn, this isn't counting down. What did I do? Well, could I have put 2.75 ounces in it? I don't know what set and reset means. I thought that would stop the beeping. Well, let's open this again. Yeah, that's probably exactly what that was. Okay, so this is ounces down here. So we need to go to up to here 2 pounds. And down here we need 4 ounces, like right there, except this top one needs to say 2 pounds. I've made that mistake before. Sorry, I just turned it up a little bit. See, it's just going to keep climbing. It's fairly slow, but what it is it's a whole lot faster than those 12-ounce cans. Now, if you only got 12-ounce cans like I had for 30-something years, then you use them. One thing I do with 12-ounce cans is just before I attach them to the suction port, is I crack the valve on them and let them slowly push out a little freon out of the little hose, and while it's leaking out very slowly, screw it on. That way it pushes the air out of the hose, and because you pump air into these things, you'll ruin them. So, okay, so we got 60 psi. A lot of the pressure here depends on the temperature. It's about 73, 74.5 degrees. So that's what's happening. The pressure's climbing. This side isn't doing anything because the red valve's closed, so it's just holding vacuum inside the meter on that side. Okay. Should be going way faster than it's going. The other thing I've done is I've used a heat gun to heat the bottom of this. Yeah, see the level's about right here. It's getting cold. It's cold from here to here, and then it's not cold anymore. And the temperature of this thing matters profusely. I'm cranking it again, sorry. Okay, so I got everything open. Well, it might be time to turn the engine on, but if I do that, you're not going to be able to hear me. And you can't really hear the bottle draining freon out of itself. So I think we've equalized the pressure. So what happens is when you start the engine and you turn on the air conditioning, the pressure drops a lot right here and it sucks the freon in. So this is about as much as I can put in with the temperature that we have here. So I think I need to put this on the tripod and go start this bad boy up. So, because we're going to do this all in one shot. I am just not. It just takes too much time to edit, if you're me. Okay, so you can see right there's the compressor. You can't see the gauges in the tank anymore. I'll take you back over there after I get this thing running. So give me a second. Yell and scream if there's any explosions. I'm going to unlock the passenger door in case I need to get in to this thing quickly. Okay, alright. We've got a storm brewing like crazy around here. Okay, we're in neutral. Start the engine without the AC compressor on. Did you get to see my my light fall down? Right here. All right, here we go. Take it off the tripod. Sorry for all that shakiness. Now, it's going really fast. 1 pound, 1 ounce. I'm going to slow it down. It'll stabilize again here. Take a look. See how the pressure dropped an awful lot? That's because there's suction on this side. Now, I should hook this up to the high pressure side. The problem is, I don't have a fitting that adapts to this. It's really small. I haven't bought one. It's an R12 high pressure fitting. So anyway, I'm not worried about it because I already know the system works. So the 19, there we go. Oh, it shut off. See, it's not spinning. It'll cycle a little bit when it's underfilled. Okay, I'm turning it back up a little bit. There we go. Did you hear it kick on? when you're filling them, it'll cycle on and off a lot until it gets enough pressure in it, and it'll stop doing that. On later vehicles, like in the 90s, it'll cycle sometimes like every 15 seconds, and then when it gets enough in it, it'll stop doing that. That's a little fancier. This is old, 86. There it goes again, you heard it. Click on. Yeah, this came out of a junkyard. Apparently, before I owned it, you could see all the writing on it and the marking. Must have had some kind of a warranty. It was put in 31st of some month, 2015. Yeah, we're getting there. Needs to be 2 pounds, 4 ounces, which is 2 1/4 pounds. I'm going to open this some more. I don't know if it'll really help. It's filling kind of slow. Yeah, it's cycling quite a bit. You'll see the pressure on there right here is slowly climbing because there's slowly more R12 being put in. One of the reasons I like this Testo 570 is because it holds like 50 different types of freon, R12 being one of them, and R134 and R22, the 3 I use here in my life. This works on the big air conditioner on the back of the house as well. Well, it's getting there. It isn't getting there very fast, but it's getting there. There we go, it just starts cycling again. I don't know, this thing shouldn't be cycling like this. It doesn't do this. It didn't do it before when it had 134 in it, and I drove it. It didn't cycle like this, but I've never worked on this system before recently when I replaced the hose, the suction side hose. Oh boy, that thing's nice and cold. Okay, yeah, nice and cold. Climbing, but boy, that's slow. This thing's gonna make me edit this damn thing together, isn't it? Ah, I hate that. Well, I guess that's what I gotta do. Alright, when it gets closer to being done, I'll bring you guys back. One of the things that helps is adding heat, running hot air around the cold part of the freon bottle. And that'll help push the pressure up in here and push it into the engine. So it needs a little pressure here and it needs suction from the compressor. So it's still cycling, but I just turned this on And yeah, it's working some. We're up to, you know, 14 and a quarter ounces. So this is what I'm doing right now. All right, we're making great progress right now. 2 pounds, 2 3/4, 2.5 ounces. When it gets to 4.0 ounces, we are done. Yeah, you see the pressure's a lot higher. So yeah, this is, woo! That's hot. Three ounces, 3 1/4, 3 1/2, 375, 4. Okay, we shut her down. That's it, man. She's full. Now I had to bump this thing and all that, so it might have, I don't know, it's about right. So I had to bang on all this to, you know, tighten it up and stuff, so I might have changed the 0 point. Anyway, oh yeah, that's cold. Alright, let's see if I can sneak through here. I'll show you the telltale sign if you did it right. Okay. Now I know the wind is going to be kind of horrific. Oh, is that thing out of focus? Alright, hang on. Okay, are we focused? So we're not driving down the road and it's not outside and the window's rolled down. It's putting out about 46 degree air. It should be doing, with R12, should be doing about 38. The other XJ does about 37. It's cool out, it's only 75 degrees, so this should go down to the lowest it's capable of, and then it'll meter itself and not allow it to go any lower. Probably can hear that in the microphone. Yeah, this thing doesn't like the dark, so I can't tell if it's working good or not in this crappy light. Yeah, it's about 45, 46 degrees and the air to the touch is cool. Okay, so she's all done. Let me show you the next step. Alright. See, what's the temperature? Yeah, it's fairly warmed up. Isn't that neat having a tachometer and a 5-speed? Oh. Oh shoot, we still got this thing running. Don't need it running. Alright, well anyway. Alright, what do we do now? Oh, well we take the sniffer. I'll shut this down in a minute, it just needs to cool significantly. Okay. Now I shut that off because it has 2 9-volt batteries in it, and 9 volts are really expensive, so yeah, that needs to go a little bit longer. But you know what? It doesn't need to do it right here. Oh. Okay. So what we're gonna do is grab our second most sensitive sniffer, and we're going to calibrate it out here in hopefully fresh air. This garage has had a lot of air conditioning work done in it, so it's not really that clear of freon, but I'm not going outside in the wind. You won't even be able to hear me. Okay, see what happens. Yeah, I gotta shut that stupid thing off. It's driving me crazy and I'm not even watching the video. Here we go. Okay. Now, there's gonna be some freon remnants on the threads and on the fittings and stuff like that. So we might get something to go off here. It's not going off very much. Part of what you have to do is drive it, and the heat of the engine will burn off the freon and the oil on the outside. Ooh, it doesn't like that. That's the filler where you put the oil in. Brand new O-ring, and I had oil on it, so okay. So now we're going to check the pipe. This is the original. Make sure there's no gross leaks. I go kind of fast in the beginning and then I go back and go really slow. Here's the joint he made. Yeah. Okay. Here's the crimp. See if the crimp leaks. That's why they put holes in it like that right there. Okay, so yeah, we're good. You don't hear it blasting away. Now, before, it used to leak right in here because of the straps that were holding the hose in. It was leaking like a sieve. Let's see if we can put some light on this. Yeah, it used to leak right here. That's why I had to have the hose redone. Okay. So this is all brand new. But you know, the first thing you don't do is make any assumptions. Oop, did you hear that? I just matched the O-rings up with the ones I have in several sets, and now that one seems to not be leaking. Let's see, what did I do? To get this lined up, I had to loosen the fitting down here at the bottom. So let's see. And I know, I'm pretty sure somebody probably put a new O-ring in it because they replaced this AC compressor from the original. Yeah, she's doing good. See, I'm going a little fast because I'm looking for gross leaks. I want to know if we got something real obvious. The only place I could find before was on the hose where I showed you. It was original 1986, so that makes it 32 years old. Okay, so that, my friends, is some really good news. It's not grossly leaking. I hate doing this twice, but the thing is, this one is more sensitive. It shouldn't be. They should be all pretty close to the same. But I run this one first because if there's still a leak, I don't want to put time on it. They're only good, I think the transistor in here that sits inside of here is only good for like 200 hours. So you don't want to screw around. Okay, now where did we have a little leak before? It's right here. No. The filler caps don't tend to leak. It's a tiny little O-ring and it's very well captured. Yeah, so that's the only place it bleeped at all. Sorry for having the microphone so close to this thing. Oh, look at that. If it's not repeatable, it's not a leak. Okay. They did a great job. John at Cave Radiator, the master. So the hose was 40 bucks. Let me tell you, that's not easy to beat online or anywhere else. And the fittings are perfect because they're factory and they're still in good shape. Okay, here's the high pressure hose here. Let's just stick it down there, see if it gets anything. There were no leaks in this whole thing. Okay, yeah, we're doing great. This thing's sniffing it real well. I'm not going to waste any more of your time with this, but here's one of the other lines that comes off the receiver dryer, and it goes in here, and I should probably check that, although I've checked it in the past. Oh, here we go. Let's do this. This is the one. This is the expensive test, because if you're wrong, you get another compressor. Oh yeah, doing good. I'll tell you, that's not a leak, my friends. That is just residue. Because if you have to put it right back in the same place, and that was 2 green lights. That means nothing. Freon and mineral oil, or PAG oil if it's 134, stays around forever. That's why if I found a small leak on here, like I have on the other Jeep, you just go drive it for several days so the heat will help burn it off of wherever it's stuck to. So it's good to be tidy while you're doing this. Good to be clean. It really does help, because when you get a really good leak detector like one of these bad boys, it'll make it harder if you don't know what the hell you're doing, because it's so sensitive. You can buy $20 ones, they aren't worth a shit. You could probably hear a leak before you worry about anything else. Now what I need to do before I yak and yak and yak is we're going to take the 1/4 inch and we're going to close this valve. We're not going to reef it tight. We're just going to hit it to the closed position, and then we're going to grab all this because it's tight, my friends. There is nothing leaking right now. Okay. There we go. Man, this little adapter is worth its weight literally in gold. Okay. Now, when I take this hose off, there's some freon in it. And it'll squirt on here on the outside, and then my freon sniffer will go off like crazy. So what you do here is you put all your caps and... Come on, baby. Here we go. Okay. So this valve is off now. So I'm going to leave that open. And I'm going to open the compressor, or the... Oops. I unplugged it. Okay. Alright, I had the heat gun in there. The heat gun helped a lot. That sped up the whole process. Had I remembered that in the beginning, I wouldn't have to edit this video now. Urgh. Okay, so we're going to fire up the pump. The exhaust is right here. Sometimes you'll see a little vapor. Okay, valve's open. This is closed. This is to the system. Yeah. So what we're doing is we're pulling all the freon out of these hoses and oil. Okay, that one's open, that one's open, that one's open. how much freon am I sending into the atmosphere so NASA can spot it on satellite? I don't know. It's only vapor, and these hoses don't hold. I've tried to save everything in the past, and it's so little I can't even measure it. I literally can't even measure it on the scale. So anyway, you pull a vacuum, get everything out, because you always got to remember there's oil in the system, and you don't want it getting into your hoses. You want to keep your hoses sterile. So the way I store them, and it works pretty well, is you pull a vacuum on them, 26, 28, it should be going a little higher, but I'm not really worried about it. Is then you shut all the valves off on each hose, and then you screw them back on here and you store them evacuated, so they're clean inside. So that's what we're going to do. So the vacuum's getting pulled all the way up to this valve, but it's closed, so it's not pulling on the system. So we're going to close that one, we're going to close that one, and we're going to close that one. There. See, the vacuum's sitting there. Okay, so that's what you do. You want to keep your equipment as sterile as possible. You don't want to be pumping moisture or oil or contaminants in and out of your vehicles, because saving money doing this yourself is a really great thing, but you can screw up your system. So keep the air out of your air conditioning system, keep the contaminants out. Okay, so you don't need to see me do this. In fact, we're going to shut her down because it's only like one battery bar left. Okay. All right, so we'll drive it for a couple days, and if there's any flaws in it, any leaks, I will sure to get back to you all. But the 86 now is back to R12. It had, they didn't put PAG oil in it, it still had mineral oil in it, because PAG oil, if you ever go in an auto parts store and there's an open bottle of it somewhere, it stinks like chemicals like you can't believe, but mineral oil almost has no smell at all. So that thing had no smell in it. It had some dye in it for checking for leaks, which there's no leaks anywhere on this that I could ever find except for the hose that got replaced. And yeah, I'm really happy. He did a great job. I'll tie wrap it right here to this bracket once I've driven it for a couple days. Well, that's it. You saw me do way more than I usually show, because to me it's boring as hell, but maybe it'll help somebody. Having the right equipment makes it more efficient and more accurate what you're doing, and it really helps troubleshooting too, especially the sniffers. Anyway, that's it for now. I gotta run, man. I'm hungry. See you. Bye.